Hey guys, we are looking at writing quadratic equations now when we're given a vertex and a point, and then being able to write them in either, the equation in either vertex form or in standard form. So to do that, we need to be able to label the vertex as h and k and the point as x and y so that we can plug those in to the vertex form. We can thankfully use insolve, which we know is menu 3.1, to find our a value. And we should know from our last lesson that the a value is that stretch or compression value. And then be able to substitute the a value and the vertex that we already know into the vertex form so that we can have our quadratic function in vertex form. And then the last step that we will learn how to do is be able to convert from vertex form to standard form. And we're going to use double distribution or the box method to do that. So to get started, to write in vertex form, our steps are as follows. You're going to be given the vertex and a point. First thing we should do is label the vertex as h, k, which we know are the two letters that we need. H being that horizontal translation and k being that vertical one, also telling us the vertex. And then we're going to label the point x and y. That way we can plug them into the vertex form, which is labeled there as y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So if we label our point as x, y, we can plug in for x and y, and then the only letter we have left in the form is a. So then we can use insolve to solve in the next step, and then substitute our a value and then the vertex back into the vertex form, and there you go, you have your function from just the vertex and a point. So let's go ahead and get started. What I'm going to show you to do, how to do right now is just set it up. You can see over on that right-hand side next to just the steps, we show you how you should write it in insolve. Remember, insolve is menu 3.1. You'll type in the entire equation using the letter A, and then to get your answer, you're not going to do comma x because you don't have an x in this point that you're looking for. You're looking to solve for a, so comma a is what you're going to want to look for there. Okay, but let's just go ahead and talk about it. Remember, our first step is to label the vertex and the point. So example number 1 says, given the vertex, negative 2, 7, and a point, negative 1, 10, write the equation of the quadratic function in vertex form. So I've given the vertex. I need to label it as h, k. Easy because it's already given to us as an ordered pair. And then I'm going to label the point as x and y. Okay. Now to make it a little bit easier on myself, I'm going to copy down vertex form just as the y equals a parentheses x minus h close parentheses squared plus k. Now all I'm going to do is rewrite that form, but I'm going to plug in the x, y, h, and k. So I see that I labeled 10 as y, so instead of writing y, I'm going to write 10 equals, we don't know the a value yet, that's what we're going to solve for. So I just leave it as a, parentheses x is negative 1, minus my h value, which is negative 2. So notice I put minus a negative, right? Close parentheses, squared, and then plus my k value, which is 7. Okay, if you are paying attention, which hopefully you are, you will notice that right up there, it is exactly that equation. Okay, so the example up there uses the example there. So plugging it into insolve, menu 3.1, and you're going to type it just as you see on that example, or as you see on example 1 where I hand wrote it, and then you will do comma a to solve for a, right? That's the value you don't know. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I recommend that you do that right now. You go ahead and type that in, and when you type that in, you will see an answer of 3. This is my a value, right? 3 equals a. So now what I'm going to do is step 5, plug it in. Now I want y and x because I want to just have the function, and the function needs a y and an x. So to write my answer, I can say, okay, I solved using insolve and I got a equals 3. So now to get my equation, that function, I'm going to do y equals, Now I'm plugging in a, so now I know a is 3, parentheses x, but I'm going to also plug in my vertex. So x minus negative 2, which can also be written as x plus 2, parentheses squared. Do not forget that squared, right, guys? Do not forget that squared. That's super important. And then plus 7. Okay, and then the other way, of course, that we could write it if we wanted to would be f of x, or still y, right, equals 3, parentheses x plus 2, close parentheses, squared, plus 7. Both of these answers are correct. Okay, they are showing the exact same thing, vertex form. Let's look at example number 2 now, right? First thing we do, we see our vertex. We're going to label it H and K, and then label the point X and Y. Okay, I'm going to write the equation now. This time I know just what the equation is, so I'm just going to plug it in. I'm going to take my Y, which was negative 10, and say it equals my A value that I do not know, times my X value, 1, minus my H value, which was 3, parentheses, squared, minus my K value, because it's negative 7. Now that I have that, I'm going to use insolve. And when I'm going to use insolve, I'm going to be able to solve for that A value. So make sure when you plug it into the calculator, you plug in comma A. Go ahead and try that now if you've not plugged it in. That way you can get your answer and then come back. Okay, if you solved it, like hopefully you did, hopefully you're practicing and making sure that you understand how to do that. Because if you just wait until it really, really matters, or so you think on the quiz or the test, you're not going to know if you're going to make a mistake, right? Because you won't have practiced. But you're going to get A equals negative 3/4. And then, like we just did last time, I'm going to take my equation. Remember, you can do y or f of x. I'm doing y right now. And I'm going to say y equals negative 3/4 times x minus my h value, which was 3, close parentheses, squared, and then minus 7. Okay, that is vertex form. I'm given my A value, my H, and my K because they were all there, right? I had an H, a K, and an A. Now we're going to move on to what happens if it doesn't ask for it in vertex form. What if we need to write it in standard form? Well, we can go from vertex to standard form fairly easily. So let's look at how we're going to do that. I told you we're going to use either double distribution or box method to do that. That's exactly what we're going to do, because if you notice, it says x plus 4 squared. And we know already that something squared is just times itself. So really what it's telling me to do is I need to do x plus 4 times x plus 4, because it's that x plus 4 squared. So let's look at our steps first. To convert to standard form, we need to rewrite the squared binomial as the product of two binomials, right? AKA, that's where we're getting set up to use box method or double distribution, right? That's our next step. And then distribute the A value, whatever that A value might be, or it could be a negative A value, and then combine like terms. Okay, right? So we're going again from vertex to that standard form. And remember, standard form looks like y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So we're going to start out with example number 3. It's already given to us in vertex form, and all we need to do is convert it. We have the following equation in example 3. G of x equals negative, parentheses, x plus 4, close parentheses, squared, minus 3. Following our steps, we need to rewrite the squared binomial as a product of two binomials. So I'm going to come over here to the side of my box and just write g of x equals, get rid of that, negative x plus 4 times x plus 4. Right, so notice instead of writing x plus 4 squared, I actually wrote it out as the product of two binomials. And then I wrote minus 3. Do not forget to keep writing after you write the multiplication happening, right? And also don't forget to put that A value. In our case, this one just had a negative 1 or negative. Okay, now our second step is to multiply the two binomials. You can either use the box method or double distribution. I'm going to choose to use double distribution because I like it. And I'm actually going to take the x plus 4 times x plus 4 out, and I'm going to do it over on the side. It just helps me make sure that I keep it clear, and I'm not making a mistake, and then I'm going to insert it back into the equation after I complete the box method or double distribution. Okay, you can do that, or you could choose to do it all in one line. Again, I just think this helps kind of eliminate some issues. So all I did was, again, take that and bring it over here so that I can use my double distribution. So x times x is x squared. X times 4 is 4x. 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and combine these two in the middle, and I get x squared plus 8x plus 16. Okay, so now I've completed my double distribution. I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it right back in. Okay, but I'm going to start by rewriting the entire thing. So g of x equals negative, right? And I still have parentheses because that negative is applying to everything in my original equation, right? It's applying to that x and the plus 4, but we have to square first. So we took care of the squaring. We still have that negative there, and I can plug in my x squared. I'm going to keep it that opposite color so you can see where I got it from. Okay, going back to finish off, and then the minus 3. And now I'm going to, in my third step, distribute the a value, which again in my case is only the negative, or the negative 1. Right, so I'm going to apply that to all three things that are in the parentheses, but not to that negative 3 that's on the outside. So now I have g of x equals negative x squared, or negative 1x squared. Negative 1 times 8x is negative 8x. And negative 1 times 16 is negative 16. And then still with that minus 3. I am almost done. My last step is to combine like terms. I need to combine these two here at the end, my constants. When I do that, I have g of x equals negative x squared minus 8x minus 19. Okay, there you go. I've now converted from vertex form to standard form. If you remember way back to the beginning of this unit, you will remember why we would want to look at things in different forms. In standard form, we're given the y-intercept. The y-intercept is that c value, that ending value right there. Of course, we still have an a value in standard form, so that still tells us the direction and the stretch. And of course, in vertex form, we're given the vertex, and we can see the a value. We can see those vertical and horizontal translations as well. Okay, this last problem, we're going to do both. We're going to go all the way from vertex form to standard form, but we have to find the vertex form first, meaning we have to plug in a vertex and a point, find a, rewrite it in vertex form, and then convert to standard form. So I'm going to go ahead and set it up, and then we're going to get started. So remember, we have to label our h and k and x and y. That's our very first step. So I've labeled my vertex hk, and I've labeled my point xy. Now I'm going to plug them in to the equation, or to the vertex form for x and y and h and k. Okay, so you can see I've plugged in my x, y, h, and k. Only letter I have left is a. Now I'm going to use nsolve to solve for my a value. I found that a was 2 when I plugged it in, right? Remember, you have to put comma a, otherwise it's not going to solve for you. Now that I know that a is 2, I can rewrite in vertex form doing y equals 2 parentheses x minus a negative 3, or I can just put plus 3 parentheses squared plus 5 vertex form. And now from vertex form, I want to go to standard form. And I'm going to do that over here in purple. So I'm going to take y equals 2 parentheses x plus 3. And I'm going to do it again times x plus 3. And then plus 5. And just like last time, I'm going to take that binomial and I'm going to binomial times a binomial, and I'm going to multiply it off to the side so that I don't get confused. You might notice a pattern here. If you do, that will kind of help you in your journey as you're doing this. Right, now I'm going to take it and I'm going to plug it back in. Y equals 2 times x squared plus 6x plus 9, close parentheses, plus that 5. Now I distribute the a value to everything, to that entire trinomial that we just created using double distribution or box method. Don't forget to bring down that 5 there, and then combine those like terms. You should finish off with y equals 2x squared plus 12x. I guess keep my 2's consistent. Plus 23. All right, and that is it. I know this was kind of a long video, but there is a lot of steps to this, and I wanted to make sure that it was clear. Let your teachers know if you have any questions.